Hello, I'm David DeCosmo. Welcome to ECTV Live. I'm joined by my co-host, Rusty Fender. Rusty?
Good to see you, David.
Good to see you as well. April is here. April is the month for, among other things, Earth Day. And there are all kinds of Earth Day related activities. We'll be talking about some of them right here on the program.
47 years since the first
can you imagine
one? Yes.
That's that long ago that we started the celebration or the activities
of the Earth.
And in this area, some of the most activity that you'll see involves around programs offered by the University of Scranton. And Mark Murphy joins us from the university. Mark,
Hi, Mark.
You're involved with the Earth Day activities, and the university has always been very, very active with regard to those kinds. Why?
Well, it's ingrained within our Jesuit and Catholic mission, as far as helping save. As far as I look at my job as I'm trying to save the world. It's a very, very big job to handle, and I put a lot of pressure on myself. But I get a lot of help. It's a nice way to involve students, faculty, and staff members, and partner with other local community organizations such as Lackawanna Valley Heritage Trail, Penn State Outreach Group for the Master Gardeners. So there's activities like that. So we had a large number of people involved to kind of participate and help do our events, and so especially the students. I think.
I was going to say, you've never had any shortage of students that are willing to jump into these activities.
No, I have to say the University of Scranton attracts a very nice caliber of students as far as their knowledge, but also as far as their will to give back to the community. It's a passionate group. They really enjoy giving back to the community. We have some events where we get involved with some elementary school students and some 7th through 12th grade students in an environmental essay contest, and I think that sort of lights them up also, because it gives them an opportunity to give back to some of the younger people, the other students in the area.
Yeah, you mentioned that particular contest. So I guess what the idea is, they write an essay that involves Earth.
Well, every year we pick a theme, and this year our theme is Pennsylvania Energy and Our Environment. And I think it's key within our area because there's some very hot topics within northeastern Pennsylvania.
Oh yes,
and and as far as energy, there's good impact from energy in our area, and there could be some negative impacts.
Don't say that F word, fracking.
So, but within say 30 miles of Scranton, we have hydroelectric, we have wind energy, we have solar energy. We have a 5 kW solar project up at the University of Scranton that anybody can drive by and look at. Up at the Pocono Raceway, they have one of the largest solar installations in the whole planet that you can, I've been told you can see it from out in outer space. It's so large. It's a huge installation, and this is right in our area.
And Susquehanna County with 300 years of natural gas just under it. 300 years.
Yeah. And we have
truly incredible.
Yeah.
Environmentally, we would like not to burn fossil fuels. However, natural gas is a fuel that is cleaner than us burning, say, oil or coal. And but there's other things to do. You can, if you don't use it, you don't have to make the electricity you don't have to have somebody make the electricity to produce pollution. So if we can use solar, renewables, if we can just reduce the amount of electricity that we use, in a way, instead of just saying, oh, I'm reducing electricity, what you're really doing, you're reducing the amount of pollution that gets put out into the air, which makes our environment healthy for everybody else.
And we are, though. We made big inroads. Look at Scranton changing every street light to go LED. That's a big step.
That project, it's about 6,000 light fixtures, reducing the usage down to possibly 25% of what it was before.
Amazing.
And it's something that happens every single day, 365 days a year. There's many projects like that we've done at the University of Scranton also, and they're not just good environmentally, they're also very good business sense projects.
Well, and you stop to think about it, the more hands-on you can take to be environmentally friendly, the better, because it looks as though the forecast out of Washington is that some regulations that many have seen as protective of the environment may be changing. So if you're not going to get aid from that segment, then the more you do yourself, the better to make up for that.
Hopefully the federal government does not weaken the EPA as much as advertised so far. It's an organization that's been around for many, many years. They're doing a lot of good work. I know myself, in my lifetime, I've seen areas that were Superfund sites, which if they weren't, if the EPA wasn't there, we'd have many more of those sites, and it would be something that would be impacting not just our children, our grandchildren, but everybody within the environment. We all need the air to breathe. We all need the water to drink, and it's something that the EPA has been out there. Some say maybe it's not the most efficient organization. At least it's out there and it's doing a job. It's watchdogging what's happening.
1970, a big year. Of course, my favorite president, I'd take a beating for this, but Richard Nixon invented the EPA. 70 was Earth Day. Glad to see this come 47 years later. I know when I was at school that day, the first Earth Day, we were all supposed to walk, and I lived so darn far away, and it was a pouring rainy day. We had to take the bus that day. But it's great to see that under Richard Nixon's regime that he had, I mean, he made some errors, but he had a lot of respect for the earth. Great to see it carrying on almost a half a century later, Mark.
Yeah. For the University of Scranton, we celebrate it for about 6 weeks. So we'll start early, April 7th is our first event. We're going to be partnering with the Lackawanna Valley Heritage Authority, with the ON over at the trail. We're going to be bringing probably about 24 bikes over to the courthouse square for the first Friday, which is April 7th. And from 5 o'clock to 8 o'clock, we'll be letting people borrow bikes to drive them around town. And that'll be the kickoff of our Scranton Bike Share program, which last year, the University of Scranton, I have to say, we were the top borrower location. We had over 400 people borrow bikes last year. And again, it's one of those things, we're trying to initiate sustainable habits for people. And I have to say, it's interesting to see people borrow bikes for the first time in a long time. They get on a bike, and it's like, why haven't I been doing this before? And that's the neat thing about that program. And the trail and Owen have been terrific with that program. And it's ever expanding.
You know, the big cities, and I first saw it in Europe, but now I've seen it here in for instance, Philadelphia. They have the bikes you can rent. It's a regular, you go, you see a rack of bikes, and you put your credit card in or whatever, and you use the bike and return it to another rack.
And New York. And all the couriers are in New York because you can't park anywhere.
Right.
So the couriers are all on bikes in New York.
And so many areas in a city like Scranton, in a city like Wilkes-Barre, are actually very amenable to bike transportation.
One thing, like if the program had started today, I probably would have rode my bike down here. Wow. And I just try, that's something I do around campus also, to try to be an example, and people know that I can get from one spot to another faster with a bike, and you don't have to worry about parking. The neat thing about the Scranton Bike Share program at our library, and also at the Marywood University Library, we just started their program up, is what you do is you borrow the bike just like borrowing a book. And they don't charge you to borrow a book, and we're not charging you to borrow a bike either. So it's an opportunity to go out and get a bike for free.
And you've got that great trail system.
You bet.
To ride.
We've partnered with Marywood University on putting a map together of special routes. So we have these routes that they average between 4.5 miles to 7.5 miles, and they map out like bike-friendly bike routes to get you from, say, the University of Scranton to the trail, from the trail to Marywood to Naog Park. So it kind of encompasses a bunch of environmental aspects. So it's not just the sustainable habit of riding a bike, that activity, but we've also tried to make it so that it takes you to places that are more environmentally friendly, something that would make people, and it's something we've been trying to do within our Sustainability Office, University of Scranton, is make it so that we try to get people out into the environment, out to enjoy the rivers, the streams, the trees, the fields, the parks. And by getting out there and enjoying this sort of stuff, hopefully we get them to think, oh, maybe I'm not going to pollute as much. Maybe I'll recycle more. Maybe I'll take care of my planet a little better because I can have fun with this planet.
Yeah.
And sometimes in this day and age, too many people are not getting out into the environment, not enjoying these things. And you need to enjoy, if you're out there enjoying it, you can really value it.
Sure. Now that's April the 7th, the Electric City Bike Event, and that's open to anybody. That's from, time is 5 p.m. till 8 p.m., Courthouse Square.
Correct.
Anybody can come and take
Anybody can come and borrow a bike, and just have to bring it back by about 8 o'clock so we can return them back to the borrowing location.
Driver's license for that?
Usually some form of ID, and we do have a liability waiver just to protect everybody involved, along with the person riding the bike. There's a couple rules on there that we would like you to read before you take the bike. We also supply helmets and locks. If you took a bike and you wanted to go someplace and have something to eat and then bring the bike back or to shop, that's the same thing with the program during the regular operating season of the bikes. Is you can borrow the bike. There's a lock that we supply with the key. So if you wanted to go, say, down to the mall to shop, or you want to go to another store, or
have an activity, while you're there.
You lock it up, or you want to go to you have a couple of friends, you want to borrow a couple of bikes, go to a restaurant and eat, lock up the bike and then ride it back home.
Yeah.
So there's stuff like that you can do.
Now the following day, April 8th, is this is interesting, a street sweep. Student government involved with that. What's that all about?
Now, the street sweep, again, as I said with our students, they're always willing to help. We'll get over 400 students out for this activity on a Saturday morning, and what they'll do is they'll go through the hill section. We'll also dispatch people up to the greenhouse project up at Naog Park, up to Naog Park. We'll send them also down to the trail, where they'll do some cleanup down at the trail. We have another group. What they do is we have a community garden, so there's about 30 students that go and do activities at the community garden to get it ready for planting season. And then we also have another group that goes down into town, and with the Penn State Master Gardeners group, what they do is they'll plant flowers in the pots, the large pots in tree plantings that are down in the city of Scranton around Courthouse Square and some of those other streets that are near there. So it's a really great activity for our students to get out. They get service hour credits for their club, so they try to do it with their different clubs, so that each club has a certain number of people that sign up to do it. But it's a large amount of volunteer work for the city that gets done with that group, with the city street sweep.
Sure, and of course, if you want to clean up around your own property that day, you're free to do so. You don't have to be in student government to do that. Yeah. April 18th through the 23rd, there will be an environmental art show. What are we talking about in terms of environmental art show?
In the Weinberg Memorial Library, George Alicio has been running the art show. I think this is his 7th year. Does a very professional job of it. You can supply photographs, you can supply paintings, you can supply a sculpture, things like that to George. And then what he does a beautiful display, an art gallery display in the Heritage Room of the Weinberg Memorial Library, which is a beautiful setting for this kind of display. And again, the theme this year is Pennsylvania, Energy, and Our Environment. That's the theme that corresponds to his art show also. And it's just a nice activity. You can go visit the art show. It's open to the public. It's free. It's from April 18th to April 23rd. And it's just a very nice project that we do on
Can anybody
campus.
Submit something to him?
Anybody can submit something to George Alicio at the Weinberg Memorial Library. All we ask is that you give it to him a couple days ahead of time, so probably by April 16th. Sometimes he even goes through the process of matting things for people if they don't have photographs that are matted. Again, it's a nice dedication. It's a certain passion that he has also for the environment and doing this every single year for the past 7 years.
I have to tell you, I'm very involved in Facebook, as you know, Rusty. And
yes, indeed.
There have been some really great photographs that people put up on there that really are high caliber art, and perhaps they, if they're interested, they could draw some extra attention through an art display like this, an art show like this at the Weinberg Library.
That's the top floor, isn't it? I've been up there. Yeah,
top floor. It's got beautiful pictures that show internationally and also show locally, a mural that shows kind of the history of the area, and then a world history. Beautiful area to sit and look at something. Like a perfect setting for this art show that George does. Last year we had a staff member at the library used books to make a sculpture that was flowers. It stood about 4 foot high, and when you looked at it, you really had to look at it deeply to figure out exactly what did she make it out of, and it was absolutely beautiful. So it's an activity that I'm really proud of that we do at the University of Scranton. It's a little different than most of our other activities, but I think the uniqueness sometimes is something that speaks volumes when we do things. So.
Hey, little things can make a big difference. Our director, Mark McGlory, has set us up with an Earth Day type set right here, and you got to appreciate that. Just fits perfectly.
This is a sustainable group of folks.
It is. I'm very impressed. Like one thing, we have a community garden that we started last year on campus with a group of students and some staff members that help us out with it also. And we joke a little bit about we have this beautiful display centerpiece here, but one thing we talk about with the community garden is there's that kind of miracle of life by growing something. And it's kind of like a mystery, but it's
looks like it's already going back to the earth as we speak. But I mean, that's a really good thing about it.
But
recycling.
Now the community garden programs around our area have been very successful. I know there's one out in the Abingtons, where people can go and actually get a little small plot of their own, and they grow vegetables, and they enjoy doing it. It's a hobby for them, and
especially
yet
organic these days.
Yeah, and they get a yield from it as well. Moving along, April 18th, the Earth Day Fair, 11 till 1 p.m. at the DeNaples Center. What's that all about?
Well, the Earth Day Fair, we have it on the patio of the DeNaples Center in the rear of the building, and we have there's a couple of classes that what they do is they have some environmental poster displays that they'll have. So we'll have probably about 24 poster displays from students from different courses, and they'll be there, presenting their information from these environmental projects that they have worked on and researched. We'll also have local businesses that have sustainable things, as far as whether it's solar projects, green cleaning projects. Some of them will also be as far as local foods, businesses that are spearheading using just local foods.
Is this an example of some of that?
Yeah, this is a photo that's showing some people at the fair from last year. And we also have Arbor Day trees that we put in little pots and hand out to people during a couple of the events that we have go on throughout our celebration, our 6-week celebration of Earth Day. So the other thing we usually have, we had an electric car there last year. I think it was from Nissan or different years we had Nissan there. Other years we had Toyota there. Kind of just highlighting how an electric car could be could be good for our environment. And the main connection there is that. Sure, if you're getting your electricity for the car that's being made from a coal power plant, that doesn't make it that sustainable. However, electricity that's made from renewable sources, now you're getting a car to go without using fossil fuels.
Right.
And that's the true connection to make an electric car green. So,
this is an environmental photo that worries me just a little bit.
Just an iguana, David.
This is
just an iguana.
This is Renee Giovanoli. She's from our biology department and takes care of what I call my main competition on Earth Week is our critters, because everybody really likes the critters, and I have to refocus them on sustainability stuff and saving our planet. It's very hard.
In broadcasting, David and I has worked with many critters in our career.
But we have an event called the Evening of Environmental Science. It's from 6 o'clock to 8 o'clock. It's held at our Loyola Science Center. And Renee will have her critters there for display. But we'll also have some other hands-on activities that will include painting, seedling planting, some vegetable garden planting things that go on. And this activity is intended for it's not intended for college students. It's intended for our children that may be from, say, elementary school age all the way up to 12th grade in high school. And what we're doing at this event, at the end of the event, what we do is this is where we give out the awards for our environmental essay contest. And that contest is open to grades 7 through 12. And I did get good news this morning. I just heard we had over 36 essays have been submitted so far for this. Last year we had about 76 submitted, but it's a neat activity to have local schools generate an essay that corresponds to our theme, PA energy and our environment, and it makes them start thinking about it. Okay, and then we have some nice medals that we hand out, and everybody who participates does get a certificate. And you just have to contact the University of Scranton. They can direct you to a location to send you. You don't have to submit it through, say, your science teacher or your English teacher. If you want to submit something on your own, you can. Just contact the University of Scranton, and we will get it within the system so we can get it graded and categorized.
I really like the idea. Pardon me. You're a college environment, university environment, but you're reaching out to the young people pre-college, pre-university years to get this message across to them. And that's where it's really going to count.
It is. I always say the University of Scranton, our main business is education. Okay, it's not installing energy efficient light bulbs, it's not doing community gardens, but our main business is education. So as our students go through our school, as they learn more about being environmentally friendly, about being green, about being energy efficient, that's our goal, is so that when they leave here, they take it with them. But the more significant thing is if we can teach it to our people that are before college, okay?
Yeah,
our preschoolers, our kindergarten students, our 1 through K through 12th grades. If we can teach them the importance of it, okay, they have many more years of it to carry with them, to be passionate about it, and hopefully they come to the University of Scranton.
It's a good thing.
And they can help me out celebrating Earth Day.
If they're there, they're already into it, as David said. If you try to get them beforehand, that's the coup right there.
So.
Yeah, and would appear just from the number of entries in essay, and I don't think students are real quick to want to write essays all the time.
Yeah, exactly.
But just from that kind of output, it seems you're really making an impact on these youngsters. Do you get a lot of them that come out to, for instance, the science fair and the Earth Day fair?
Well, the Earth Day Fair, because it's during the school, during the school day, that's a little more challenging for our K through 12 students to come out to that. So the evening of environmental science is the one where we would really like students to come out, because we are gearing those activities so that they are for
that's on April
K through
20th,
12.
right?
Yeah, that's on April 20th at the Loyola Science Center from 6 to 8 o'clock. And the neat thing is there we have our student clubs and groups. They'll have tables that we give them, and at each table they'll have an activity that they've created on their own that's going to be an interactive activity for the people that come to the event.
On April the 29th and April the 30th, there's a used book sale. How does that figure in with the environment?
Well, what I do is I help promote the used book sale that the Weinberg Memorial Library does as a fundraiser every year. It's very popular. There's probably tens of thousands of books that they have that are donated to the library, and they display them and things, and then people come and buy the books as a book sale. Why do I feel I need to promote this event? It's very sustainable. It's the beginning part of, you hear about recycling. Well, before recycling, what you want to do is you want to reuse something.
Reuse it, sure.
So here we're reusing, probably 10,000 books every year that get reused and put back out into the circulation. And these books, a lot of them are donated by people in the valley, and then other people come and buy them, and it ends up being a fundraiser for the library. Very nice project.
Again, it's a win-win.
Very sustainable. So I don't have to do much to take care of this and run this and manage it. All I do is I try to help them promote it, because it is a great event.
Yeah. Mike, when I used to do regular Newsbeat coverage of the university, I recalled that as students came for various semesters, and I guess it was primarily the new students coming in, that they were actually required to do some community work. Pardon me. I remember some efforts when they went to Naog Park, for instance, and did a cleanup all around Naog Park. The students still involved with things like that?
Yeah. There are a good number of majors that require service learning, where you'll go out and you'll volunteer to do certain activities. I'm not sure if every major requires that, but a large number of them do. And there is a number that I'm sure is over 6 figures, over 100,000 hours a year. There's a number out there as far as they keep track of how many student volunteer hours go back or giving back to the community, and it's a number that the university is usually very proud of publicizing every year. And it's not like 1,000 hours, it's not 10,000 hours. I'm sure it's over 100,000 hours, which is pretty easy when we have 6,000 full-time students on campus to tap into those, to get them to do service hours and things. And like I said, we attract some very good students, and again, they're passionate about service and giving back, and that's part of what the Jesuit education is that what we're trying to you're trying to make students that are going to go out into the world, and they want to make the world a better place. Mm-hmm. And we try to do that through the curriculum at the University of Scranton.
I also remember now this is sort of when you got a lot of dormitories now. Before they were all constructed, there was a lot of housing up in the hill section of Scranton, and I remember some of the students going out doing a neighborhood cleanup as well, and that was pretty impressive, because it showed again the idea of the university wanting to be a good neighbor with the community.
And maybe that was the beginning of our street sweep that we have. And like I said, the street sweep is April the 8th, and it attracts over 400 students that volunteer to do street sweep, or for cleaning up and picking up debris and garbage, especially in the alleys. The alleys seem to be where we get most of our debris picked up, but it's from the alley. It's you have the core area where the University of Scranton is, but we extend probably 3 or 4 blocks away from the University of Scranton campus. Most of the volunteers are not on the campus; they're going to be off campus, doing their cleanup. So maybe some of those early cleanups that you're recalling are, we're the beginning of this program that goes on today.
And it's even just the post-winter cleanup too, from all the anti-skid and all the dirt that the Department of Public Works spreads during the winter time too. The sides of the roads are a mess.
And the street sweep is an activity that's done twice a year. Each semester they do it, and they get a fabulous turnout each semester.
Sure. One of the other major events comes up on April 29th. Another fun event like the bicycling is. This is Kayak the River, Falls to Harding. It's a 3-hour trip on the Susquehanna. Tell us about that. Now
that trip, this is on April 29th, and they're back to that theme of trying to get people out into the environment, because if they like the environment, maybe they'll help take care of it. And we've been doing, this is probably our 4th year. We do one in the fall and we do one in the spring, and we attract probably about 50 participants each each time we go. And what we do is we have a morning trip and an afternoon trip because it's so popular. And so we get up on the Susquehanna River. So I think it's interesting to get our students, faculty, and staff, and friends of the university. So it is open to other people also. Is that what we do is you go about 20 minutes away from the University of Scranton. You're up at Falls near the Falls Bridge. There's this beautiful rock cutout up there that's hundreds of feet high. And as far as we've seen eagles, we've seen all sorts of critters and things like that up on the river. But as far as how beautiful it is, and when people see, our students and faculty and staff see that, kind of how striking our environment is, how beautiful it is.
Oh, yeah.
Just within 20 minutes of our campus. Some people think you need to travel an hour or 2 hours to go see something or participate in something. On this activity, we have people that go on the trip in the morning. They're back to campus by 1 in the afternoon, and now that if there's other things they have to do that weekend, they go off and do them.
And the view is totally different than anything you can imagine when you're on the river, be it the the Lackawanna, the Susquehanna, and you're looking at the shores from that perspective. It's totally different and very, very impressive, I must say. I've done a little bit of canoeing on the Susquehanna and some fishing as well, and it's a tremendous view.
I've been on just about every one of those trips in the past 4 years, and the interesting thing is there's a couple. You can go a course where you go a route where you go from the Falls Bridge down to Harding, and then there's another one where you go north of the Falls Bridge and come down to the Falls Bridge. And the thing is, if I'm on even the same kayaking route from say Falls to Harding, from the fall time until the springtime, it's just so totally different. Whether it's the level of the river, okay, the weather on that particular day. The one morning we got there and it was fogged in. We have these 30 kayaks going out of the river. We're all pooling in one location, and it was kind of you're going through the fog, and within about 30 minutes it did burn off, and it just transpired into a whole different trip.
It's just tremendous. Now, is that strictly for students and faculty, or can anybody check on that?
It's also open to people from outside the University of Scranton. They would just have to contact the sustainability office, and we do try to reserve spots on the trip, so we get a balance of students and faculty and staff members. So we do want to make sure, we do want to get our students out there. So usually we hold about 20 spots for the students and then 10 spots for other people.
Mark, as we run out of time, very quickly, for anybody that wants to double check on any of these activities, or just see what's going on weekly at the university, how can they check in?
The one thing, the University of Scranton does have a calendar that you can go to, so it's a www.scranton.edu is a website where there's a calendar. But as far as sustainability events and Earth Day activities, and also to learn more about what the University of Scranton is doing with respect to the environment, you can go to www.scranton.edu/Earth Day, and that'll take you right to the page where you can see a lot of this information.
Okay. Mark Murphy, thank you so much for joining us today. A lot of activities, a lot of fun involved as well. We appreciate your stopping by. And of course, Rusty Fender.
Happy Earth Month, David.
And to you as well. Mark McGlory, thank you so much for keeping us all supplied with Earth-related paraphernalia, I guess. I'm David DeCosmo for ECTV Live. Till we see you again next week, here's hoping all your news is good.